Okay, everybody, welcome to Keep the Vision podcast. This is episode 6. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And as usual, I've got my co-host, Alan Ingalls. How you doing, Alan?
Hi, William. I'm very well, thank you. Great to see you, as always. Well, tonight on episode 6 of Keep the Vision, we have our very first guest. And the guest is a mutual friend of William and I's, and it is none other than Susie Mollison. Susie, how are you?
Good evening, guys. Hi, Alan. Hi, William. And hello to all your listeners.
Thank you for coming on tonight, Susie. For the listeners who don't know much about you, Susie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. I would love to. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me onto the podcast. You both know how much I like to talk. So, so this is an absolute honour for me. You're just making a lady's dream come true this evening by asking me to join you. And if I can offer any sort of value to anybody that's listening as well, that is something that's hugely important to me as well. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, I tell you about me. Well, I'm married. I've been married for many years to a wonderful guy. I am an entrepreneur. I have a few businesses. I have a background in the military. So it's, I started off my career as a soldier. I moved on and started to work for Lothian and Borders Police, where I met yourself, Alan. Yep. And then I left that career realising that actually I wanted to be able to contribute more. And I was looking for different ways to be able to contribute. I also wanted to be able to run my own business and just have a little bit of my own freedom. And so, that has been a big focus of mine for many years. I am fortunate now that I have had good success in business, that for me, it's really about spending more time giving back, seeing how I can make a difference. I'm hugely into my personal development, my mindset, mind store, and of course my health, fitness and well-being, so which is what my businesses are all around as well. So it all works really, really well together.
Fantastic,
Susie. That's grand. I believe William's got a question for you.
Yeah, thanks. That's amazing, Susie, your journey. I've obviously known you for a few years now, and I've been quite inspired with your story for things that we've talked about. Obviously, we're all in business together, and you're saying you're an entrepreneur. Just interested to find out how much the personal development side has helped you in challenging situations through business and through your personal life.
Like, without it, I wouldn't be where I am. Yeah. It's all came down to that. I was very lucky. I first started off, William, as a complementary therapist. And really, for people that don't really know what that is, I started off as a massage therapist. I then went into reflexology, clinical aromatherapy, and I was able, I had my own clinic. That's how I started. But in the training, you're trained as a complementary therapist, that you're not just looking at a physical condition. You're always looking at the whole person. So right from the beginning of that training, they start to tell you a little bit about personal development. And so I was curious of it, and I feel really grateful that I was introduced to it at such a young age. But I didn't understand it. I didn't embrace it. I just knew it was there. And then what happened was 12 years ago, I was introduced into a new business, which is predominantly sales and recruitment. And it was 100%, you have to invest in personal development to become better. And I think anybody that's in a sales type job that's had huge success will tell you a lot of it has come down to personal development. Your books like Think and Grow Rich would be one of the main ones that salespeople are told to read. And I know that we don't like that word salesperson. I really don't like it. But at the end of the day, we're all selling something, whether it's like broccoli to your children. It's just a word that we use. And it took me a long time to accept and appreciate that word. And again, that's been down to personal development, but it has been an integral part of my life, and it is now like oxygen for me. I would not go a day without it.
Yeah, no, it's a massive thing for us all. I think we've realised, with different sort of scenarios in life, and like you say, your career, and you're challenged every day. So without it, you're yourself. If you're not practicing the right things in life, then you can sort of go off track. So no, because you're obviously one of the most positive people I've ever met in my life, Susie. That's probably the greatest compliment I can give you, and I've followed you for a lot of years now. So no, that's just great to get a bit of insight, because a few things you've mentioned there I didn't know about your sort of your past, and obviously, so fantastic. So no, it's a lot of things I was wanting to ask you about, but it's it's just fascinating to kind of see how your life's going to go, because I know you're moving to America. Has that happened yet, or is that something you want to tell us about?
Yeah, it's not happened yet. It happens in September.
Wow.
I am super excited about it, and it is a dream come true, and it's a dream that my husband and I created. So can I share how that happened? Because it was all sort of mind store work, and I think it would really be beneficial for people for me to share it. Would you be happy for me to share that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So basically what happened was 4 years ago, the careers that the businesses that I ended up doing, what I wanted to achieve was businesses that didn't require me to be there all the time. I wanted to be able to do them from anywhere in the world, because when I actually sat down and thought, what do I want to do? What's Susie's life all about? What's the purpose? What's the meaning? What does she want to achieve? It was all about being able to travel the world, help other people become successful, and give back to developing countries. That was like, it became really clear to me when I started working on what do I want to do. That's what came up. So being a complementary therapist wasn't going to allow me to do that, because that career required me to be there one-on-one with clients. So it's why I looked for different businesses that allows me to work from anywhere. So people used to say to me about like my main business, people used to say to me, why did you choose that business? And I'm like, just so that I could travel the world. And I heard myself saying it and realised that, I've been doing this business for 8 years and I've not travelled the world. So when are you actually going to start doing it? So I just decided, Scotland's really cold in the winter. I don't like the cold. I'm going to go to America. So there was no plan. It was just like, let's go to America. I love America. So I said to my husband, I'm going to go to America for 6 months. And he was like, oh, okay, right. And he works a full-time job. He said, well, I can't get 6 months off, but I could get 3 months. So I'll join you for 3 months. I said, fantastic. So away I went for 6 months, no plan, no idea where I was going. I just flew into LA airport and thought, let's see what happens. California, here we come. And there was massive challenges to begin with at the beginning of the journey, which I'm not going to go into. But again, my mindset, my personal development work, and the friends that I have met through personal development all helped me at the beginning of that journey. So maybe about 2 months into the journey, I started to settle. Chris came to join me, my husband, and we were sitting on a beach one day, and he does personal development, but very different from how I do it. And we were sitting on a beach, and the two of us were just sitting, and we're like, this is what we want. We want to be living in America. We don't want it to be California, but we don't know where we want it to be. And we don't want to live here forever. We would just like to live here for a few years. And both of us kind of said it at the same time. And then I said to him, well, how are we going to make it happen? And he started to laugh, and he says, my goodness, you're the one person that should know you should never ask that. We don't get to decide how it's going to happen, Susie. We just have to put it out there and allow the universe, the powers that be, whatever your belief is, to make that happen. But if we have it clear in our mind, that's what we want to achieve, something will happen. And we both kind of laughed about it like, well, how on earth would that ever happen for us? And that was it. But I started to visualise on it. And I started to visualise, Chris and I moving to America, different things that I used to do. And then what happened was, at that time, 4 years ago, Chris and I believed that it was going to be my business that would get us to America, because I do have some business connections there. So we always believed that's why it was going to happen. At the time, Chris was working for the police, Scotland's police, and he wasn't that happy. So we didn't ever believe that we could get to America because of Chris. And then what happened was, he decided to go for a job with the Foreign Office. He got the job. He said to me, Susie, we're going to have to relocate to England. I'm like, that's grand, we can do that. We relocated to England, and within the first year of him being in the job, he was told that he was going to be getting given the opportunity to move to Washington, DC for 4 years.
Oh.
And we weren't surprised. Like we just knew we were going to end up there. And so we're going in September, and it's a dream come true for both of us. We are super, super excited, but I also know that we created it, and you can create anything that you put your mind to.
Yeah, I'll just finish up with that point. I'll let Alan come in. Just obviously, this podcast is called Keep the Vision, so that's just a perfect story, Susie, for anybody that's listening. Keep the vision. So that's it. You've kept the vision. You've. I think I could tell by the sort of law of attraction side how important that is to you when you're telling that story. You've just sort of put the imagery out there into the future, and you've just sort of the intention and everything's just flowed. But no, what a story that is! Amazing. So no, absolutely fantastic, and good luck to you for everything you're doing there.
Thank you so much,
Susie. Thank you very much for sharing that. I have heard some of that story, but it's great to hear it all in its entirety. Clearly, with the journey that you've made up to date, you've obviously met a lot of people, and I know this won't be an easy question to answer. But who are the people that have been most influential to you on your life journey to date?
My goodness, there is such a huge list, Alan, and there really is. I mean, obviously, my parents are hugely influential to me in the fact of who they are and just what they're about. Chris is hugely influential to me. My husband, people that are in my life. I do have really, really good people around me who are very influential type people, And so, there's a lot of business people that I could mention as well, but it wouldn't mean anything to your listeners, so I wouldn't go through all of them. So what I would like to do is mention a few people who your listeners may know of. So one of them would definitely be Jack Black, without a doubt. And he was the first person that really had me understanding visualization. Like I had maybe been in my personal development journey for about 5 years when I first done any mind store work. And I went to the Royal Concert Hall, done one of Jack's seminars, and it all started to click for me at this seminar. But then when I got his book and read it, it just made sense. So for anybody that is listening to the podcast that hasn't yet bought any of Jack's work, my recommendation would be to do that and to study it, because it really made such a difference. And one of the things that he talks about is the house with the red roof. And he was the first person that allowed me to understand about actually seeing myself going into that house and then being able to visualize what I wanted to achieve. Nobody else prior to that had ever been able to help me with that. And to this day, I still use his methods when it comes to visualization. It is definitely the most powerful thing that I've used. So he was hugely influential and still is. Like I'm saying in the past tense, he still is. I think the work that he does is incredible. I also think that I'm going off topic here a little bit, but I want to, because I think the work that you two are doing is absolutely incredible. And I'm very aware that I'm speaking a lot about success just now, but actually we can use mind store techniques for much more than success. And I know that both of you talk a lot about this for people who need more confidence, need more belief in themselves, for people who are unwell, worry, stress, anxiety, all these things. And my goodness, people need it more than anything at the moment. Mm-hmm. And both of you are providing that phenomenal platform for people. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say thank you to both of you, because the difference that you guys will be making to the people that listen to this is phenomenal. And because you are so down to earth and you're just speaking from the heart. And again, it's interesting because prior to us coming on this evening, I asked you, Alan, what would you like me to prepare? And your words were, nothing, Susie. We're about being authentic, coming from the heart, and just speaking like what we should. And I loved that response, because it just means that we are being really real, raw, authentic, and people can relate to that, or at least I hope they can relate to that. And so huge congratulations to both of you. And then there would be other people, like Tony Robbins was hugely influential, still is. Jim Rohn is one of my absolute favourites. And Darren Hardy as well. I love Darren Hardy. I'm actually working with Darren Hardy just now on a leadership development course. It's a year's course with him, and I'm learning lots from that. And then, Alan, you'll know of Kathy Quinlan Perez, the director of PSI seminars. She's hugely influential to me as well. So the list goes on and on and on. I mean, there really is a huge list.
No, Susie, that's fantastic, though. That's fantastic. And it shows you that, to achieve success, it's not something you do on your own. My sense is that, you do, I think you move forward quicker when you surround yourself with, the right people. And I think the list that you've, I know it's not a full list, but the list that you've given us just now is phenomenal, and just reminds everybody out there that, this is not something you need to do on your own. It's not something you maybe should be doing on your own. Don't be frightened to kind of ask for help. And that's something that I've certainly learnt in recent times by doing some of the seminar work. I've been very guilty of, trying to do things on my own, and there's no need to, So asking for help is actually a strength rather than a weakness, if you like. Susie, you mentioned in your introduction that the choices that you're making are to achieve more freedom in your life. So what does freedom mean to you?
Freedom is about, it means a lot to me, actually, a lot of different things. I'm a person that really wants to continue to work. I'm not someone that ever wants to retire. So it's not about having enough time and money to just sit about and do nothing. Absolutely not. I want to continue to strive, to grow, to develop, so that I can help more people and make a difference in the world. That's really important to me. However, I also want to know that when the day comes that I get the phone call to say, your mum needs you, your dad needs you, or whoever, somebody really close to me needs me, I'm able to just down tools and be there and never have to worry, whether that be for 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 5 years. So that's one thing that's really, really important. And there has been a few times in the last 12 years when there's 2 occasions when that has happened for me, where I've had to literally disconnect from business because people in the family needed me, and my business continued to grow, which for me was really, really important. So that is freedom to me. The other one is that thing of being able to just wake up in the morning and go, this is what I'd like to do today. Like not having to just, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. It's just my choices, but I don't want to have a Monday to Friday 9 to 5. I don't want to have a boss. I don't want to be answerable to anybody. It is that thing of me having my own choices to do what I want, when I want, with who I want. That is freedom to me.
Yeah. Again, Susie, that sounds fantastic. And for me, and I'm sure I'm speaking for William as well, it's very inspiring. What you're sharing with us tonight, William.
No, I just thanks, Susie. That was brilliant what you said about the freedom thing as well, because I feel like that in my business as well. I like to sort of be not in control, but like you say, control. But that's a good thing. Sometimes I was scared to actually say that, like you're in control, like you're controlling other people, whatever. It's just more control of how you're managing yourself and managing, your day-to-day experiences and your goals, etc. But I just want to pick up a couple of other things you said. Just firstly, thanks for what you said about the podcast. What we're doing with this. I mean, we just really want to put out content, Susie, for people to relate to, because obviously over the last year, the challenging times we've had, I know you're big into audiobooks. You said Dan Hardy, Jim Rohn. The Compound Effect was a great book that I read. So if you speak to Dan Hardy, tell him it's made a massive difference to my life. That book, Jim Rohn, was his idol, wasn't he? When he speaks highly of Jim Rohn. It was actually through Dan Hardy that I went back and researched all Jim Rohn stuff. So for any of the listeners out there, about Susie said about Dan Hardy and Jim Rohn, fantastic content online. Just get their audiobooks and drive in the car. Get in the house when you're cooking, get the audiobooks on, and you're on your way to improving yourself dramatically. So, no, Susie, listeners, as we've said, we've just obviously we're just trying to put out loads of content out there to help people better themselves and think better and try and inspire a different way of thinking in people. Because you know what it's like, we've all got that friend that, when it comes to personal development, they just might not understand it. They don't take control of their own life. So you're the sort of example of how you should manifest things in your life by positive thinking and creating goals and keeping the vision. That's what it's all about. So you're saying about America. What is things that you're looking to achieve in the future, if it's not too personal, that you'd like to share any more about what's going to happen over the next few years for you, Susie?
Yeah, of course. So obviously there is going to be a huge focus on supporting my husband, because this is a new career for him. It's something really exciting for him, you know, so it's great to know that I'll be able to take that on as a role, as really helping support there. But for myself personally, the biggest thing that I want to focus on is actually making a difference in the Washington DC area. So I've been saying for years that I want to give back more. Again, a bit like what I was saying about the fact I wanted to travel more, and I wasn't doing that. So I definitely want to give back more, and I'd like to do that locally. So I'm going to do that locally to the area of Washington, DC. I won't know how that'll look until I get there, but that's something that I know it's the right time for me to start investing in that. The other thing that I would like to do is one of my businesses is a CrossFit gym, and I am not a CrossFit coach. I am nowhere near the fitness levels of the people that do CrossFit. I run the business. I have a business partner, and she runs the CrossFit gym, and she's the fit one. So I would actually like to take time in Washington, DC to get my fitness levels to a really high level. I'm very much an all or nothing type person, and I've accepted that's who I am. For many years, I used to beat myself up being like, why do you have to be all in or all out? And now I just go, that's who I am. So when I get to Washington, DC, I've already decided I'm going to get myself a CrossFit trainer, somebody who's actually going to coach me one-on-one. My business partner's laughing, saying, can I not come and be that person? She's like, I'll come to Washington, DC for you. So I'd like to do that. And I also want to find a yoga coach as well. I started doing yoga during lockdown. So this year, I've done yoga every single day except for 3 days. So I don't know how many days we've had in the year, but I haven't missed a day except for 3 days. So I am loving it, absolutely loving it. Only 15, 20 minutes. I'm not doing like an hour's yoga every day. So that's something for the future as well, is to really, really focus on the CrossFit, the yoga, my own health and wellness, my giving back in the community, and then taking my businesses to the next level as well. So it's just that is about doing that. And enjoying America. I want to travel America as well and see more of America. So, yeah. That's
fantastic, Susie. I know in the short time since I've met you that travel is a huge passion of yours. And I believe next January 2022, you're off on a special trip. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. I'd love to share that. So I'm going to Nepal to trek to Everest Base Camp. And again, it was the pandemic that had me thinking about the fact I turned 46. I thought I've got 4 years till I become 50. And too often in life do we hear people saying about everything that they wanted to achieve. And so I decided to write a list of 50 things that I wanted to achieve before I was 50. Because if I say I'm going to do something, I generally do it, but I need lists. I need to have ideas of what I was going to do. So I wrote a list of things, and one of the things was to trek to Everest Base Camp. It's something I've always wanted to do. Now, I'd been in Nepal 2 years ago with a charity, a British charity called Adventure Aid UK, which is run by a guy called Ashley, who's a very successful businessman. And he uses all his holidays to go to developing countries to help there. The guy does amazing, amazing things. Honestly, please look him up, Adventure Aid UK. And his story alone is phenomenal as to why he developed Adventure Aid UK. So I went to Nepal with him, and I think it was about 15 others 2-3 years ago, to help the kiddies of Nepal, the ones that are in real remote areas, giving them pencils and colouring in books and jotters and lots of educational things. And actually the Mind Store group, I don't know if you both remember it, but the Mind Store group donated a lot of things, and I had like a rucksack full of things from the Mind Store group for the kiddies of Nepal, and they were so grateful. And you just realise it's a reminder of how much we have. They just have so little, and yet they're so happy. That was the second time that I'd been in Nepal. The first time I was there, I was actually teaching blind people to massage, again, because of my career as a massage therapist. I've been teaching blind people to massage, and they were able to then get jobs and massage the trekkers, which was amazing, absolutely amazing. And that's when I fell in love with Nepal. So I'm going back in January, one, to be able to tick off the 50 things for 50, you know, that trek to base camp. But I'm doing it with Adventure Aid again. So there'll be about 16 of us. And we're not going to be doing any charity work when we're out there. That's the first time that's happened. But again, we are fundraising for it. So, you know, we're asking people to sponsor our trek or whatever, so that we can give to the kiddies of Nepal when we're there. So Ashley, that started Adventure Aid UK, he works with a local charity out there called Help. And again, phenomenal charity. These are all very small charities that he works with, and very transparent, and you know everything, where all the money's going, which is something that's really important to me as well. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, I'm listening to you, Susie, and I'm saying all these things. It's like 50 things before you're 50. You're saying you're an entrepreneur, you've got several businesses. I'm listening here and I'm thinking, how do you manage all this? I'm thinking to myself, it's phenomenal. I mean, I'm actually interested to ask you about like sort of time management then. Obviously, we live in such a busy life. You know, you've got businesses, you've got these things that you want to achieve. How much do you prioritise your business to other things, or like you say, if that is like a bucket list for yourself, for example, or how important are some of these things? Are some like top goals, or some are not as important? For example, you'll get round to ticking them off. So how do you manage that, if you don't mind me asking, for how you prioritise things?
So it's changed over the years. I would have been very much criticised years ago for everything being about business. And again, it's something that I really admire about both of you when I listen to the podcast, and about how empathetic you are to people. It's not my strength, and I know it's not my strength. And again, I used to beat myself up about that. And one of the big things I've realised with all my work is be grateful for who you are, and don't try and change. I have tried to change so many times, but there's a lot of really good qualities about me. So that's the ones that I work on. Mm-hmm. And then we joke about the ones that I need to work on, as in being more empathetic and stuff. I actually said to my mum the other day, I said, see, when I was born, I think actually I was meant to be the boy, and my brother was meant to be the girl, because he is so empathetic and so kind, and he's just wonderful. And then sometimes when I hear people's problems, I'm almost like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to deal with this. You know, so people will say I'm very good at motivating and inspiring, but when someone has real issues, I kind of struggle a bit with that. So a nice way to not have to deal with that is just throw yourself into something. So that's what I used to do. I used to just throw myself into work. And as I say, I was criticised for that. But with the work of personal development, again, one of Jack's philosophies or teachings, which has helped me incredibly, is Wheelie Life. I do it every single month, because I have to, or I will become obsessed with work. And I love it. Like, I'm not driven by money. And success for me is having everything in life. It's not about being successful in business. It's about being successful in your relationship and on all relationships, you know, parents, partners. It's about being kind to people. It's about your spiritual growth, all of that. So if people don't know about Wheelie Life, again, you guys covered it actually, didn't you?
Yep.
The Wheelie Life. So go back and listen to that podcast about it. But yeah, every month I do it, and whatever area in the Wheelie Life is lacking, that is the area that I work on that month, so that I know that I'm always growing and developing. Anyway, now the balance is all about, one is Wheelie Life, so wherever I'm weak, But two, I'm very much into routines. So I tried for 2 years not being a routine person, going with the flow, seeing how things would work. It doesn't work for me. I need structure and I need routine. So it's pretty much the same every day, but I don't need the full day to be routine. So I get up at 6 o'clock every morning, and from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and this is extreme for a lot of people, but from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, it's all about me. So I do my meditation, I do my gratitudes, I do my journaling, I do my yoga, I do my exercise, I write down what my goals are, I do my visualization, I do my reading, and nothing really is allowed to disturb that time. At 10 o'clock, I'm then available for anything and anybody. And I literally feel like I hand myself over to the universe at 10 o'clock and say, right, whatever needs to be done will be done. But I need that 4 hours routine in the morning. It's really, really, really important to me. I always bookend my day as well. So I finish my day with, I'm not as good in the evening as I am in the morning. So, but I do my best to, my gratitudes, my goals and my visualization, because I want to go to sleep remembering everything that I want to create. So if I've got business things that need to be done, they get prioritised, and business will always be at 10 o'clock, I start working, that's when I start to work. But again, if something comes in, if something comes in for family that becomes urgent, business will be dropped and I'll go straight to family things. I have had to learn to schedule really well. So, mum and dad are older, and I want to make sure that I get as much quality time with them as I can. So I'm actually on this podcast with you guys from Wales at the moment. I've brought my mum to Wales for a week, and it's just me and her, nobody else, so that I can have that quality time. I'm back in Scotland next week, and my dad and I have got hill walks booked, just dad and I, quality time. So quality time is really important to me with the people that I love. My husband's in Canada at the moment with his work, hence the reason why it's easier to be with my mum, be with my dad, and then when he comes back, it'll be quality time. So I maybe don't spend lots of time with lots of people, but the time that I do spend is absolutely quality. Really important for me. So I don't know if that answered that, William. And yeah, I think because I do a lot of journaling, that's where the goals come from, that's where the dreams come from. But I think one of my biggest drivers is I don't want to get to the end of my life and be like, I wish I had. So I just take action.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, because like you say, I think that's probably everybody's life goals, to have the right balance in life, like you say. If, too much anything's not too good, so too much work, too much partying, whatever. So I think, no, you've hit the nail on the head there. I mean, amazing sort of morning routine that. I think it's funny. I don't know if you got, it was Dan Hardy, he talks about that. I mean, a sort of 3 or 4 hour sort of time where he focuses on himself as well. So I think obviously you've learnt from some of the best with Jim Rohn and Dan Hardy about that, and you've got your own routine, which is amazing, because I'm listening to you doing all these things, and I'm getting quite inspired by you, Susie, the way you're actually approaching things. I know for myself, the way I've got to manage my day a bit better sometimes. I'm challenged with family life, business life, so many things are happening. So I probably maybe need to get a more a structure that you're doing as well. So no, that was great to talk about that. Actually, I really enjoyed that. So I'll keep you updated on how things are doing when I start maybe start getting into the old yoga as well. So because a lot of guys are doing it, a lot of people maybe are quite maybe no judgmental, but was the word. But when guys are getting into yoga, it's like, what's he all about? Because that's something women do. I think the mentality is changing with that. There's so many guys doing yoga now as well. So it's something that I've been thinking about doing for a while. And amazing. Any questions on that, Alan, what Susie says?
Pretty similar to yourself, William, actually. Susie, everything you've spoken about tonight, hugely, hugely inspiring. And so fantastic that you've been able to join us tonight. I'm sure that in addition to William and I, the listeners tuning in to this episode will be inspired as well. For those listeners who would like to connect with you, what's the best way for them to connect with you online?
Probably Facebook is the best one, and I'm just Susie Mollison. I have a business page, although I'm not that active on the business page. I'm much more active on my timeline, but I'm very public on my timeline. So that's a really good place to connect with me, is just there. And my email's an easy one. It's just susie@susiemollison.com. And I'm really happy to speak to anybody. You know, I have a huge passion for personal development, and so many people have helped me. It's like what you said at the beginning, Alan, asking for help is so important. It's so important. And I could tell you a million stories about people that have helped me, but if you don't ask for that help, you might not always get it. And so I'm hugely grateful for that. And people love to be asked. You know, if you're not asking them, sometimes they feel robbed of the experience of being able to help you. So I think that's really, really important. And, you know, it's funny when I share with you about my morning routine, because I do appreciate it's quite extreme for most people, and especially most people have got lots of commitments in the morning, the kids and other things, and so I do get that that's difficult for people. But a really good book that helped me was The Miracle Morning, and The Miracle Morning tells you how you can actually do these things in 5 minutes. And when I first started, honestly, I was doing it in 5 minutes because I was out the door for 8 in the morning. I was like rolling out of bed and doing 5 minutes. And over the years of doing the personal development, eventually I realised, actually, I want to do more of this. I love this. I want to fill myself up. And then the biggest one that we really struggle with is, I deserve this. I deserve to have 4 hours of Susie time. You know, So yeah, I just wanted to, sorry, I went off track a wee bit there, Alan, but just for anybody that wants to, I think anybody that has a morning routine, it's going to change their day. And I know for you, Alan, your big one is setting your intentions for the day and doing your visualization for that. And you have a fantastic day because you do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, Susie Mollison, that's how you find me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I would just like to finish up, Susie, by saying a very big thank you for coming on tonight. Hugely inspiring, and thank you again for the very kind words that you've spoken about Keep the Vision. That means a whole lot to William and I.
You're very welcome, and I think you are just doing an incredible job. And the more people listen to this and realise that there are people out there that can really, really help them, because unfortunately we are seeing much more mental health conditions at the moment, and people are desperately needing help, but they need to reach out.
Yeah, couldn't agree anymore, Susie. And like I say, I mean, hopefully this podcast will reach people that sort of want to get inspired, people that have got a business idea or want to change their morning routine or have a dream about living abroad. You're the perfect person for them to listen to. So can't say any more than that. And you're just an amazing, inspiring person. And thanks very much for coming on. I really admired you. So hopefully we can all get in a room together soon, in America.
Yeah, come visit me, come stay.
Why not?